Hello everybody. It's the 5th anniversary of Klay's career high, 60 points in 29 minutes and 11 dribbles, and I thought it would be fun to look back. This is a simple quick hitter early in the clock. Draymond has the ball, right elbow. Klay just goes to the weak side. He gets a pin-in screen from Zaza Pachulia. Klay comes out. Draymond sees all, and the main action broke down, so now the Warriors are just improvising. 12 on the shot clock. This isn't even really a play. Klay just wanders to the right corner and Draymond says, "Here, go figure it out." Klay is being guarded by Monta Ellis, who is a great ex-Warrior, but much more known for his lightning speed and amazing finishes rather than his intense defense. Klay just tries to surprise Monta, and he does surprise Monta. And I like Monte's attempt at defense here, which is instead of getting a hand up, he just tries to do a quick swipe down. Bang. Another shot of Monte's swipe down defense. Yoink. He waved at it. Monta was unfortunately on the receiving end of quite a few of these Klay points. You might think, why did they put Monta on Klay? There's only so many good defenders to go around in any lineup. Someone's got to score. And when you've got Kevin Durant here, Steph Curry here, Draymond way up high, even if you have the young, frustrated Paul George, you can't put him on everybody. So anyway, so here's Klay on the wing. Monta has to close out fast. Closed out really fast. So Klay just attacks the closeout, using up some of his precious dribbles. One dribble though. We did have a rotation here, but Klay is just going to drive by the side of this contest. And a sweet little finger roll. We have a passer on the elbow, and on the weak side we have a three-man split. Whenever there's three men, one of them pops out, one of them dives to the basket, and you can improvise some screens in the middle. Steph and Klay bring around the Rosie action, where they will go towards each other, and then they'll actually rotate around each other. Sometimes I think they would even hold hands. Here it is. So Steph is doing this ring around a Rosie and setting a screen for Klay. Klay will go around it. Monta Ellis now trailing Klay. Jeff Teague trying to stay close to Steph. You definitely don't want to leave Steph, and Steph is going to pop out. Klay is going to dive. I like this really quick read by Zaza Pachulia. He is a good passer and a quick reader of the court. There, Klay springs free, and the second he does, Zaza has the pass coming. Jeff Teague knows no one ever got fired for following Steph Curry. Monta just a little bit behind. Klay has a free roll to the basket. By the way, that's some three-man split, huh? Steph, Klay, and KD all in the same action. Nice. This is a stagger screen. Steph Curry, even back then, the best small screener in the NBA. Klay comes around two screens. I'm a little surprised he didn't hoist it from here, but he just takes it and starts attacking the big. His defender is trailing, so he knows that he's going to be able to attack a big. Once he realizes that Turner, who could possibly contest his shot, Klay says, heck with it. I'm pretty open right here. Let's just do this. And he did it. A lot of silent communication on the court. Here Steph just does a quick point, and Klay knows, all right, come over here, you're going to get the ball, and Iguodala is going to cut through. The Pacers are trying all kinds of counter communication. Paul George is pointing, saying, yo man, you got to go cover Klay Thompson, he's coming back. He just runs through. We do have the switch, but Klay thinks he can turn the corner. Does have inside position. So there he goes. It's like a little receiving line. He gets one swipe here, another swipe. Rodney Stuckey is the only one playing legitimate defense on Klay. Paul George is trying to stay close to Andre Iguodala. If he rotates, then Klay can hit Andre with the pass. Although to be totally honest, what are the odds Klay is going to pass at this point? He's going to end up this incredible game with only one assist. It's in the Kevin Durant era, shots were a little harder to come by, so pretty much every time he got the ball, Klay was looking to score. This defender does dare to rotate off of Zaza, but not really very fast. Stuckey's still on Klay's butt, and Klay with a nice leaning layup. Klay was definitely leaking out. In theory, this man can rotate to Klay. In practice, Stuckey just didn't notice that Klay was on that wing, or thought he was under control. So nice find, and Klay saves himself a dribble. Nice layup. No, this is not a repeat of the same play. Next play down, the Warriors do the same thing. I think this is Stuckey. He's pointing, saying, yo, you let Klay cherry pick again. What is up with you? Pick that guy up. Steph says no thank you. And now this is just a post pattern. Klay has a step on the cornerback and going to be right on the money. What a nice pass. No dribbles. Hey, it's David West, the great old veteran. The passer's in the elbow, and he's got two sides to be looking at. In theory, Sean Livingston can come over here and set a screen for Iguodala, and that's definitely where David West is looking. But Iguodala, if you look carefully, he's pointing, saying, no man, Klay's on this side of the court, and so is KD, so you should definitely be looking on the other side of the court. Andre will finish pointing that way. So David West goes, oh yeah. KD sets a screen on this man so that Klay can get around. Klay's now being trailed. Ideally, this defender would switch over to meet Klay's curl. Good little pass, but the defender takes a step in the wrong direction. Monte Ellis, I did mention that he's going to be on the receiving end of quite a few of these Klay buckets, is not in good position. These two guys are mesmerized by Andre Iguodala. Andre is explaining all about false consciousness and the theory of surplus value. So that means Klay is just going to scoot in behind them. Nice lean. Even in 2016, this was part of the Warriors culture. Whenever someone does a non-standard move like Klay's sweet little finger roll there, you're supposed to recognize it and mime it to show that you recognize. And so here's James Michael McAdoo. He's going to hold up his right hand and jiggle it gently to show how delicate the move was. Here's the right hand and jiggles inbound play. David West setting a screen on the elbow for Klay. Klay's defender has to navigate this. Stucky's going to get a little bit behind on this play. Gives Klay a lane to attack. They need Miles Turner to rotate. Stucky is reaching out and just putting a hand on Klay, saying, Universal Brotherhood, man, and a hand check. Turns out he's hot when you can shoot a jumper right in the face of a 7-footer. Miles Turner was on him, but Klay, he feels that his arm's down and he's just not going to be expecting the quick shot. So Klay just has a little bit of a drift back on the fadeaway. Very nice. This is just a scramble. Here we have Pat McCaw. And remember Pat McCaw? He had some good moments in the 2017 finals, and it just seemed like he was going to get better and better, but never really came together for him. Anyway, he's going to miss this shot, and it's just going to be a scramble for the rebound. David West fighting nicely. KD gets it. Klay Thompson is just standing just off stage over here, and KD knows it. Pacers got really mixed up in the shot. I think this guy needed to stay closer to Klay. But it's too late for Stucky. We have one rotation happening. I appreciate that man's hustle, but this is a lot of space for Klay Thompson, who's having a pretty good day shooting. Boing. Draymond Green makes a nice steal and counterattacks. He's just busting down the middle, and the Pacers are a bit disorganized in coverage. Both these men cover Draymond, which lets Klay sneak in the weak side. Now, I think at this point you can see what's going to happen, right? On the basketball side, Klay's just going to dribble into a three. There's going to be some kind of contest, so then Klay's going to sidestep and then take the three. Okay, that's the basketball side. But the more important side is the celebration side, where you have Steph Curry, who's getting a bit excited by how well Klay has been playing. This is definitely one of the more endearing features of Steph, and probably one that we could all stand to learn from, which is taking joy in the success of others. If you can do that, life is going to be a lot happier, and you're going to be a much better teammate and partner. So Steph gets up. The ball is not even reaching Klay. This is the premature celebration of premature celebrations here. Steph is always a groundbreaker. He is up, and he is already jumping up and down with, I don't know, I would say 5-year-old child on Christmas technique. There he is, jumping, jumping, jumping. He is like doing these teeny little hops. Paul George is going to contest, but Klay will sidestep. But Steph, he's already got the OK threes up. He's jiggling up and down. Kevin Durant is going to look over and say, huh, is this the Warriors' way? I suppose I better do this too. If the star of the franchise can act like 5-year-old Christmas, I have to start practicing too. So KD gets up with the pretty traditional wingspan, hold me back. Often you fall back into your teammates. But then I think he just keeps on noticing, what is Steph doing with this weird jiggle? KD wants to go over and talk and say, hey man, you got to explain why you're jiggling like this. And then it's going in, and then KD thinks, I guess I got to start jumping too. It's going to look weird if it's just Steph jumping. So Steph is still doing his 5-year-old hop. So then KD just gets into the spirit of it and he starts doing his little hop and he turns to Steph. He's like, hey, am I doing it right? Watch my hop. Okay, here Zaza's post position, but he's going to turn this into a screen for Klay, who will run off the screen. Simple little pass to Klay. And Klay is feeling it. Everyone in the arena and his team desperately wants him to shoot. So pivot foot, turn, defender very close to him. No problem. Okay, we got to take stock here. You have to remember that this is only game 21 together. And Klay has had some good games, but he hasn't yet had one of his mega Klay games. And so this is the first time that the new team is really experiencing the full Klay effect. So they're pretty excited to see it, and I think they're really excited for Klay that he's able to still have mega Klay games. KD and Steph using up a lot of the scoring oxygen. So we already saw last play that Steph introduced the Steph Bunny Hop. KD did his version of it to try to learn from Steph, and now the entire team in their own way, they're all going to start doing Bunny Hop. Oh, here's a close-up of the Bunny Hop. Several bunnies happening here. Oh, we got three. We got Ian Clark. That's too blurry to see. I think that was McAdoo. And I want to point out something pretty subtle that happens on this play. Steph has already now pioneered the 5-year-old Christmas bunny hop, but Steph is really excited about this play. He's transcended to another level of excitement. When Klay comes across, he sees that there's a cross screen possibility here. So even though Steph is on the bench, he's going to point to Klay. Hey, pass it to Klay. There. See, now he's pointing. Hey, it's Klay Thompson. It's the real one, not the fake guy. Pass it to him. Pass it to him. So he had the multiple jumps of excitement. Here comes the ball. It's right in front of Klay. So I think Klay, he didn't need a lot of encouragement to shoot, but this might have put him over any edge of conscience. Steph going a little bit bananas. Oh, I like that. He ran, but then he got in a little bit of a flying body bump, like that, and then that gives him time to connect with the teammates real briefly, and then he's so excited, he has to leave the arena. He actually goes and just leaves the arena. Here he is, ready to run down, and now he's just take off. Okay, I can't handle it. I have to leave the entire workplace. Bye, Steph. Oh, okay, they have footage of him coming back down here. He's back. He didn't get into a car and drive off over the Bay Bridge. This play starts with Monte guarding Klay. Iguodala cuts behind him, so Steph hits him with the pass. Things seem under control. KD is pretty wide open on the weak side, and Andre will dribble in and try to get a pass through, but it'll be deflected. More importantly, Monte Ellis here, he was guarding Klay, but he's just going to lose interest mid-play. So here he's just watching what's happening and just enjoying and saying, hey, that's the guy who is trying to explain Das Kapital to me. And he's just going to completely lose Klay. So Klay is going to follow this play. Klay completely unguarded. Paul George is going to notice, there's Klay Thompson right in the middle of the paint. Have you not been watching this game? This guy is kind of hot. And I mean that platonically. KD with a nice quick find. Paul George tries rotating fast, but it's too late. Actually, it doesn't look too late. He's got half a hug on Klay, but Klay just goes up anyway. This is a set play the Warriors used to run. I really like it. I think they should go back to doing this. I assume when Klay comes back, they will go back to running this. This is a Hornsey set, corners, elbows, top, and the play is pretty simple. We have Looney setting a screen for Steph. That's phase one. But immediately, Looney then sets a screen for Klay, who pops out here. And Steph, you can tell this is a planned play, like you'd never improvise this. Steph gets over here and then suddenly turns around and flips it back to Klay. So I love this little play. It's very simple. Klay's very open. Boink. Okay, so this looks like your typical A-tier Warriors celebration. We're going to have Ian Clark here. He's just going to start shadow box, just punching the air with excitement. Bam, 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 that oxygen and nitrogen really feeling his fury. Draymond Green jumps up. He's going to do a big down punch. It's like, yeah, I'm also going to abuse the atmosphere out of my excitement. Ooh, so this is excellent. Sean Livingston doing his kind of walking around like Frankenstein. So you would think that was just an A-tier celebration. But what brings it to S-tier is, let's go back. Okay, what's really pioneering levels of premature celebration. The ball is not even gotten to Klay yet. Kevin Durant, as the ball is going to Klay, he hasn't even started to shoot it, is going to start turning to Ian Clark. There, you see he just turns, and Ian Clark is hopping off the bench. Kevin Durant is going to reach out to Clark, put his hand on his shoulder. Like he's reaching out saying, "Can you believe this is happening?" By the way, Kevin Durant is an active participant in this play. On the off chance that Klay had passed it to Kevin Durant, it definitely would have pegged KD in the head. KD is just fully engrossed in this interaction with Ian Clark. So as the ball goes in, then Ian Clark is going to reach out again to say, "Man, can you believe this? We live in blessed times." And then they both pause. KD's got his hand here. Ian Clark's got his hand here. And when the ball goes through, Ian Clark swipes down. I think he missed the low five with KD, but you got to really respect the no-look low five. KD does a little farewell. He's definitely just enjoying a moment with Ian Clark. Okay, Klay running around stagger screen. Monte, poor guy, still trailing Klay. Klay is pretty open. This man rotates, but it's too late. I respect that Monte Ellis is trying now on defense. Here he's got two hands on Klay, and he's definitely anticipating Klay popping out. Little quick move and getting the handoff, and then maybe Klay will just YOLO it. Monte is definitely on high alert. Every time Klay twitches going this way, Monte is going to counter twitch and get ready to try to jam Klay going top. There's a step by Klay going this way. Monte, nobody's fool. He's also going to lean that way. And you see him gear up to go that way. And then Klay was just setting him up to go backdoor, sadly. Such a nice pass. This guy's probably too small to rotate back. And also, he's covering Steph Curry. So no one ever got fired for following Steph. This is a nice view of Klay's fake. Klay stepping this way. And then Monte Ellis just going a touch that way. So Klay can go back. This is actually a slightly sad moment for Klay because Klay and Zaza Pachulia, of all people, became best friends, and they had a competition to see who could dunk more. And I don't know if you think that's a mismatch because Zaza is not known as a high flyer, but in the end, it was a pretty close contest. I think Zaza won. And so here's a chance for Klay to just have a free dunk, but doesn't quite get high enough. So that did not count. Sorry, Klay. Sideline out of bounds play. Pretty simple one. Zaza sets a screen. Klay cuts around it. Monte still getting tortured. Poor guy. I think they'd switch the assignments up by now. Monte got behind Klay, so in fact it's a mini 2-on-1 here. Zaza emphasizes it by cutting to the basket, and now Miles Turner has to decide, do I cover Zaza? Do I rotate to Klay? It's actually a kind of tricky moment, and Klay helps make it hard by just hesitating to suggest that he's going to pass it to the rolling Zaza. By this time, Turner has leaned a little bit to stop the pass over to Zaza, and Klay just rolls in for the layup. On this play, Zaza Pachulia has picked up a hustle offensive rebound. He sees Klay coming over. So Zaza, if he was a normal person, he would just hand off the ball to Klay and then set a screen. But Zaza, in his own way, has a little bit of flair. He was a pioneer of the between his own legs backwards pass. But here he tries something with even more extra flair. So here's Klay to pick up the ball. Zaza trying to face up to screen Klay's defender. And he's going to try to put the ball behind his back. And I think do a two-handed backwards flip behind him to Klay. There's two hands behind his back. And then he tries to just flip it over to Klay. Instead, he almost throws it into the Pacers bench. But Klay saves the day. And then he says, hey, here I am. I got the ball. It's a basketball game. I might as well shoot it. Yoink. Klay's just set his career high. It's a bit tricky. Right now, it's a 34-point lead. You don't want to run up the score, but it's only halfway through the third quarter. So by NBA etiquette, I think you can just play all out for 3 quarters, and then the fourth quarter, it starts to get rude to run up the score. So they definitely wanted to keep Klay in long enough to get his career high. Next play, Steph ends up with the ball behind the Pacers defense. So you got to look at it from Steph's point of view. Klay has had his fun. Klay has his career high 54 points. I believe Steph, at this point, his career high was 54 points. It would be understandable if Steph said, okay, we fed Klay plenty. It's now time for me to get some points. On a broken play like this, For Steph, this is open. He could just dribble to the three-point line and just fire it up, and that would be probably a really good percentage play. But instead, he sees Klay calling for the ball. He's, hey, I've still got lightning in these hands. And Steph, instead of taking the shot, he was looking for Klay, right? He's gonna fling this one-handed pass cross court, almost intercepted, and once he misses it, that's it. Klay's putting it up. Let's see the exact moment Steph's premature celebration begins. Okay, here we go. It started about a quarter second before this. Klay's still lifting his ball to shooting position. Steph's already got two beautiful OK threes up, and he's completely turned his back on the play. I'm so confident I'm not even going to look and see what happens. I shall only learn through the roar of the crowd. Steph's got his arms up. He's had his hands up for so long, he's probably losing circulation in his arms, and he's still completely keeping his back to the play. I refuse to peek in any way. And then once he hears the roar of the crowd, he wanders over, and to finish things off, he starts doing OK3 jumping jacks. You know no one else is going to dare take a shot right now. They're pretty much only running two plays. Get the ball to Klay, or Klay get the ball. He's going to come over here and set a screen on Klay's defender. Klay will just run off it straight to the corner. And of course, Klay is going to shoot. Not even a microsecond of thinking happening here. Steph, this is not quite as impressive as his previous multimedia premature celebration, but he's already got the three up. That's how you get to 60.